Shalom. In this week's video, I want to answer the question, what can we learn from the strange fire incident of Nadav and Avihu? My name is Daniel Goldstein, and I'll be sharing with you a brief commentary on this week's Torah portion called Shmini. Now, the name Shmini comes from the first verse in this week's Torah portion, and referring to the eighth, referring to the eighth day. Now, in the previous Torah portion, God had commanded that the priests, Aaron and his sons, be ordained through the process of 7 days. So those 7 days are not completed, and it is the eighth day in Leviticus 9, verse 1. On the eighth day, God commanded Aaron to offer a sacrifice for his own sin, as well as a sin sacrifice for the whole nation of Israel. Now, in obedience to God's command, Aaron offered the sacrifices and placed them on the altar. And then we see an amazing event that occurs at the end of chapter 9, where God's glory is revealed to the people as a result of their obedience and following his commands. And we read about this in chapter 9 of Leviticus, verses 23 and 24. And it says, Moses and Aaron went into the tent of meeting. When they came out and blessed the people, the glory of the Lord appeared to all the people. Then fire came out from before the Lord and consumed the burnt offering and portions of fat on the altar. And when all the people saw it, they shouted and fell on their faces. This is an amazing, wonderful scenario of intimacy with God as a result of obedience to his commands. And his glory is revealed before the people. And then fire comes out before his presence and consumes the sacrifices on the altar. And the people shout out in rejoicing and fall on their faces. Amazing picture. However, this is immediately followed by the tragic situation of Nadav and Avihu, who offer strange fire. So, continuing on in my reading and starting with chapter 10, verses 1 and 2, it's also the same day, the eighth day. It says this, Now Nadav and Avihu, the sons of Aaron, took their respective fire pans, and after putting fire in them, placed incense on it, and offered strange fire before the Lord, which he had not commanded them. And fire came out from the presence of the Lord and consumed them, and they died before the Lord. Now what a horrible, tragic situation this was, where Nadav and Avihu offered strange fire, and as a result, fire came out from before the presence of the Lord and destroyed them, and they were killed. Now, what was the strange fire that Nadav and Avihu offered? Well, there are many theories out there, but to be honest, we just don't know. What we do know is that God had not commanded them to do this, as we read in verse 1. So they did something contrary to the command of the Lord. So what can we learn from this situation, this scenario of the strange fire that was offered by Nadav and Avihu? I believe the answer is found in the next verse, in verse 3 of chapter 10, where Moses is speaking to his brother Aaron. And it says this, Then Moses said to Aaron, It is what the Lord spoke, saying, By those who draw near to me, I will be sanctified, and before all the people, I will be glorified. So Aaron therefore kept silent. So, through this whole situation, Moses says, this is what the Lord said. By those who draw near to him, he will be sanctified. And God, the Lord himself, will be glorified before all the people. This is the important element in this whole scenario. God is holy, and he alone will be glorified before all the people. And I think, if you are a teacher, a pastor, someone who teaches God's word, someone who leads others in worship and draws them into the presence of God, anyone in this category needs to be especially careful to honor the holiness of God and to make sure that God is glorified. I'm included in this. God has given us a warning to make sure that he is glorified and to make sure that he is made holy. It says in Isaiah chapter 42, verse 8, I am the Lord, that is my name. I will not give my glory to another. God alone deserves all the glory. God needs to be glorified before all the people. It also says in 1 Corinthians 10:31 in the New Testament, whether then you eat or drink or whatever you do, do all to the glory of God. Are we living our lives for the glory of God? This is something I think we all need to consider and learn from this whole scenario of the strange fire that's offered. We need to remember that God is holy, and we must treat him as holy, and we must make sure that he alone is glorified. Not me, not you, not us. He alone is to be glorified. Now, to read my full commentary on this week's Torah portion, please go to jewelsofjudaism.com under the title, Stealing God's Glory. Thank you for watching this video today. If you enjoyed it, please like it on YouTube. And thank you again for watching, and Shabbat Shalom.